Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. All right, so one of the never Trumpers, and this is a Republican I'm going to be talking about here. And most never Trumpers are Republicans. I mean, people that are Democrats that don't like Trump have Trump derangement syndrome. And most of the time, whenever MAGA people are talking about never Trumpers, they're talking about Republicans, right? Like Nikki Haley, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, never Trumpers. So there's a conservative radio host podcaster who's just quit the business over his frustration of having to talk about Trump. And I'm talking about Charlie Sykes. Charlie Sykes is a jerk. He had a nationally syndicated radio show. He was on, he still is. He's on MSNBC all the time. He has been for years. MSNBC likes him a lot because he's a Republican that trashes Trump. And he left the radio a few years ago and was doing full-time on MSNBC. And then he started a podcast. And he's given up his podcast, which is highly rated, he said, so he can access the part of his brain that isn't Trump, Trump, Trump. And, he's in with Bill Kristol, the Weekly Standard, Never Trumpers. Listen, this is a Mediaite. I love this stuff. Charlie Sykes, the founder and former editor of Bulwark, announced this week he was ending his 5-year run as host of the podcast, which has become the go-to listen for anti-Trump conservatives and liberals alike. That tells you right there, if you're a conservative, a lot of liberals listen to me. But they listen to me because they want to get ticked off, right? A lot of liberals listen to this podcast. A lot of liberals listen to me on the radio. They don't listen to me to hear things that make them feel good. They hear things because they listen so they can get ticked off even more. And Charlie Sykes, he has liberals listening to him for material on Trump because they bond. Charlie Sykes announced yesterday he was walking away from both his daily newsletter and podcast, which has been a mainstay in the top 10 top political podcast in the country. And he's just can no longer talk about Trump. So he can't handle it. Trump broke him.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, he's just a broken man. And the reason that he's broken, it's not really because of Trump. It's because he feels like an idiot, because for years he's been trashing Trump. And Trump's doing so well. He announced yesterday he was walking away from his entire Never Trumper enterprise, his broadcast, his newsletter, his podcast, everything, the same day that the latest polls came out showing Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in every single toss-up battleground state. Yeah. That's not a coincidence. I think the polls came out, and he just is like, what's the point? And see, these guys like Charlie Sykes and Bill Kristol and all of them, they're not out there because they're interested in news and politics or they're out there for one reason only, and that's to stop Trump. And Charlie Sykes, he's a big name in liberal circles, even though he's a Republican, because he's been bashing Trump since his first campaign.
I guess he's realizing all his efforts are futile.
That's right.
And he's just had enough. He's like, I'm not going to spend any more of my time or energy trying to bring this guy down when obviously we're having zero impact.
It's like
it's not where he's given up. He's just given up.
And I think it's embarrassing for him too at the same time, because no matter what he says and does, he continues to just rise in the polls. That's driving them nuts. Now, there's a lot going on that's happening in the news. So I goodbye to Charlie Sykes. He's a real jerk, I must tell you.
You think anybody else will follow? I don't think so, because Trump is big business. He's very lucrative for these people. And I'm predicting he'll be back. I think he just needs a little timeout, and he won't be able to stay away. He won't. Yeah. I mean, it's like a moth to a flame. These Trump haters can't handle it. They can't not talk about him. And he'll be back in a couple weeks and say that he just needed a break and, needed to collect his thoughts.
Yeah. Now, today, the illegal immigrants that attacked the police officers, they got out of jail because it was in New York. They have the no bail and everything. And when they left the jail, they really they showed a lot of disrespect. Let me play this clip. This is from Fox.
And that attack on officers, those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down. So, a fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his two middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail.
Okay. So 7 illegals, they call them migrants in the news. 7 illegals attacked 2 cops and robbed them, right, in New York City. They get out right away with no bail. The TV cameras are there. They're grinning and laughing ear to ear, giving the middle fingers, to the cameras. And this, of course, shows that Trump is right again. When Trump said in the first campaign, they're not sending us their best, they're sending, criminals. And while technically everyone who comes here illegally is a criminal, to be here illegally is a criminal action. But a lot more of them are like these guys than the press will ever tell you. And, this story about these guys attacking the cops, which is really a shame. New York City used to be the pride police force of America. I don't mean pride like in the, that way. I mean, like it was like the premier police agency. Like if someone was a New York City police, here in Florida, everyone from New York retires to Florida. So there's retired New York City police officers in Florida like crazy. We probably got more New York police officers in Florida than anywhere else because they all retire here. And every New York City police officer have met is usually pretty intimidating, pretty scary. I don't see any of them getting whooped by some teenagers because they have a thing called a gun to defend themselves with. And you know what I mean?
Well, now they're afraid to shoot people.
That's right. And
because if they shot these guys, then they'd probably end up in jail.
My grandfather was... You
know what I mean? There were people saying they were racist.
My grandfather was a police officer in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And in Columbus, Ohio. And he had not only did he have a gun, he had a nightstick, okay? And he also had this thing called a blackjack, which is like this leather thing. I don't know how to really describe a blackjack.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
But
you can beat somebody
with
it pretty...
Police used to be able to be police.
Yeah,
now they have made police work very dangerous because you're not allowed to respond to criminals and the police are getting whooped.
Yep.
And the way it would in the old days, like when my grandfather was a police, if a bunch of illegals jumped 2 cops and beat them and robbed them, the other cops would go and find them, okay? It wouldn't end like this. And there's no bail thing in New York. It's insanity. So they just get – you're telling me that in New York City you can attack, beat, and rob New York City police officers on the streets of New York and you're out right away without bail?
This is all part of China's plan to weaken our country.
This is crazy.
To weaken our police, weaken our cities. Weaken everything. This wokeness is it's destroying America.
Well, this is a good thing that happened, I'll tell you.
But I did see the governor say that they should be deported.
Yeah, well,
they should be in jail, deported. They should go to jail.
This incident, we were talking on the last podcast. It's interesting how when things happen, they're in the news maybe a little bit, and you don't think too much of them, but there's certain things that happen that become important points in time. And this story right here is not going to go away. Everybody has seen this story. It's in even the liberal news. And them coming out with the middle fingers is prolonging it.
Yep.
And the country is so fed up already with the illegals coming through the southern border at will. And they see something like this all the way north in New York, and it ticks people off even more. And you know what? It should tick people off. It's pretty scary. These guys shouldn't have been they should be held for 2 reasons. 1, they're in the country illegally. And 2, they attacked, beat, and robbed 2 New York City police officers. I cannot imagine if here in Florida, if you did that to police officers, you wouldn't be out on bail like that, without bail. You wouldn't just get released without any bail or anything.
Well, let's see how the voters react. I'm just reading. Yeah.
Well, Kathy, as you said, the governor, all of a sudden she's into deportation of illegals. All of a sudden, the governor of New York.
2 people at least.
Yeah.
So I'm reading here, a left-wing super PAC is enlisting Dems to vote for Nikki Haley in South Carolina, and they just hired 2 Pete Buttigieg advisors.
Yeah.
And Nikki Haley has not refused their support. So I don't understand what game she's playing. I mean, that should tell everybody what they need to know about her. I mean, that it's like she doesn't, this tells you that she does not care about winning the primary election. This is just about keeping Trump, which is not going to happen. This is just trying to keep Trump from winning the primary, but she's not going to win the general election, and she knows it, and she doesn't care. They're just trying to keep Trump from winning the primary by enlisting Democrats, because none of these Democrats are going to vote for her in the general election. She knows it. Everybody knows it. So she doesn't care about winning. She keeps saying she beats Biden and this. That's all baloney.
Yeah.
And they don't care about beating Biden. They just want to keep Trump out. But it's all futile. It's not going to work. People see right through this. And anybody supporting Nikki Haley, you should think twice, because she's not going to win. And also she's working with the Democrats and the never Trumpers. But worst of all, maybe you don't like Trump, fine. But are you okay with her working with Democrats and Pete Buttigieg to get through this? That's just crazy to me. And she's doing it so openly.
This Nikki Haley campaign, which is not a credible campain. She's not.
It's a joke.
She's not going to be on the ballot in the Indiana primary, and Indiana is a big state. It's an important state. But Nikki Haley with Mayor Pete, in the old days, which weren't that long ago, if you can't stop people from donating to your campaign, you can't stop people for saying things in favor of you. But the way it used to work, sometimes there would be questionable donations made to a candidate. It would get in the news like this with Nikki Haley, with the Mayor Pete people, and they'd have to return the money. They'd return the money to the person. I've seen this happen with many, many candidates throughout my entire life. And the other thing is, the press, when someone comes out and endorses a candidate that's out of character, they call the candidate out, and the candidate has to denounce it. Like in Trump's first campaign, the Democrats resurrected from isolation David Duke, and they got David Duke on CNN to say something good about Trump and the border.
Stupid.
And then what do? Then they spend months trying to get Donald Trump to denounce David Duke.
People are wise to these tricks.
It doesn't work anymore.
I think they've pulled the same tricks out of the same old hat so many times that people are just sick of it, and they're finally waking up to it, and they're realizing, you know what? I don't care if David Duke endorses Trump. It doesn't mean anything, because things are so bad with Biden. They're willing to overlook a lot of those issues that used to maybe bother them. And I think that the Democrats, they see what's coming, like this guy that quit his job, and they're
Charlie Sykes.
They're terrified. They see how bad Biden is. And I told you guys, he's not going to step down. That's not going to happen. They're stuck with him. They're stuck with him.
No way.
He's a horrible candidate, and things are only going to get worse. And now all of a sudden he wants to do something at the border, which is really nothing. I mean, in an election year, they start doing things like he went to that East Palestine place where Trump went 3 weeks after the train accident, and the mayor of East Palestine just endorsed Trump, and they told Biden to go screw himself because he showed up a year later, when that train derailed and destroyed the whole city. And they had all kinds of problems. So people, to me, more than ever, are really wising up to the tricks of the Democrats, and they've just had enough.
Well, Nikki Haley has done everything but officially switch parties, right? And South Carolina is a crossover state. And all three states so far we've dealt with, Iowa, New Hampshire, and now South Carolina, Nikki Haley has been working with the Democrats. I mean, this is insane. I've never seen. Now, there's been some things like Rush Limbaugh used to do this Operation Chaos, and he would sometimes tell Republicans to vote in Democrat primaries and open primary states and things like that. That was a little different than this. It wasn't Rush Limbaugh, the great Rush Limbaugh, was a radio talk show host. He wasn't a candidate running for president. If you are a Republican and you're running for office, you don't work with the Democrats like she's doing. And Nikki Haley's entire campaign strategy has been based around how much Democrat support she can get. And I'll tell you, the fact that she's doing this in South Carolina tells you what a terrible candidate she is, because she was twice elected governor there. So she was twice elected governor, a Republican governor, and she doesn't have enough people that are Republican, and where she was twice elected governor of South Carolina who like her, to support her. She's got to go out to the enemy, the Democrats, and try to get them to vote for her. She is, I got to tell you,
it shows
the sleaziest politician ever.
It shows you that they know she's not in it to win it. she's in it just to upset Trump.
Bless you.
You know what I mean? She knows having Democrats vote for her is not going to get her to the White House.
Yeah.
And she knows this, and they do it anyway because they think, we'll keep Trump off the ballot. It's never going to happen. And after South Carolina, she's done. If she stays in the race, I mean, that's just, I mean, she should leave now. But we'll know in a couple of weeks what happens there. But I really hope the people of South Carolina come out and support Trump. I'd like to see her lose by a lot.
In South Carolina.
By a lot, okay? Yeah. And send a clear message to this lunatic.
Now, I want to play this clip. This is Presley, the squad member. I wonder how much time she spends, Presley, shaving and shining her bald head.
I think she has, doesn't she have alopecia?
Does she? She doesn't wear a wig?
Well, obviously she doesn't wear a wig, but I don't know if she
could wear a wig.
Has alopecia or if she does it shaves her head on purpose.
I don't know. She may say she has alopecia and she may not really have it. I don't know.
Does she have eyebrows?
I can't tell. I don't look at her that closely.
Penciled in.
But I know this about.
If you have alopecia, you have like no body hair.
Yeah, she also has no sense. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yes.
But
like Jada Pinkett Smith.
Presley, I don't know if she has alopecia or not, but whether it's medical or by choice, she enjoys being bald because it makes her stand out. And she likes to stand out and be the center of attention. So she was on the floor of Congress today talking about Walgreens. Listen.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens is planning to close yet another pharmacy in the Massachusetts 7th, this time on Warren Street in Roxbury, a community that is 85% Black and Latino. This closure is a part of a larger trend of abandoning low-income communities like the previous closures in Mattapan and Hyde Park, both in the Massachusetts 7th. When a Walgreens leaves a neighborhood, they disrupt the entire community and they take with them baby formula, diapers, asthma inhalers, life-saving medications, and of course, jobs. These closures are not arbitrary and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination. That is why I joined with Senator Markey and Warren to demand answers from Walgreens CEO. Why was there no community input, no adequate notice to customers, and no transition resources to prevent gaps in healthcare? Shame on you, Walgreens. Having a website with talking points about health equity and underserved communities is not enough. Walgreens is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that needs to put their money where their mouth is and stop divesting from Black and brown communities.
Okay, so Walgreens shut down these locations because the crime. And shoplifting at Walgreens is incredibly out of control. I was at Walgreens yesterday, and by the way, I got to tell you, we don't live in a inner city neighborhood. We live in a nice neighborhood. This is not an impoverished, high-crime neighborhood we're in, obviously, right? And Walgreens has things as simple as that and much more locked up. So it's not racial discrimination. Walgreens, they're locking things up in all kinds of neighborhoods, okay? Not only are they locking things up in all kinds of neighborhoods, if you have a store that's regularly being robbed, and the cost of doing business in a high crime neighborhood is dangerous.
This is not just Walgreens, and it's not. I mean, they've closed stores in Beverly Hills, because of these gangs that are robbing these stores en masse. But for her to act, she's doing two things. First of all, what she said is very racist. Like she's assuming that people in these neighborhoods are all people of color, and that they're all criminally minded and they can't control themselves. I mean, she sounds like an overseer, talking the way she talks about Black people. I think it's disgraceful. And she's also pandering to her voters. The Walgreens is not racist. There's Walgreens in all kinds of neighborhoods around this country. Believe me, they want the business. They're hurting. Amazon's killing them right now. Like, you bought Flonase for me. The only reason you bought it there is because you happen to be there with Emily to get prescriptions. Otherwise, I was going to order it on Amazon. So that's, I order anything I used to get at Walgreens other than my drugs, my medications. I typically order on Amazon now, like toothpaste or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't go into Walgreens like I used to back in the day to buy toiletries and stuff. I don't. I can't remember the last. Even where I'd go to Walgreens to buy cards. They have a huge card section. I buy my cards on Amazon now. Like if somebody's got a birthday coming up. Now maybe that's just me, but that's what I do. But so Walgreens, believe me, they want the business. But when you are being robbed so much and there's an issue with loss prevention and
it's dangerous for your employees
and it's dangerous for the employees and you're not making it, you're in the red and the employees are in danger, then you think to yourself, well, this store is really not helping our company. So it's just a business decision.
And notice how Presley doesn't have one negative word for the criminals, right?
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying. It's racist for her, first of all, to assume they're all brown people and also to assume that they can't control their behavior.
Yeah, now...
I mean, what the hell is that about?
Now, in California, Newsom, did you hear this thing about Newsom at Target? This was great. Listen to this. Governor Newsom was shopping at Target in California. And I remember when I was in California, in Los Angeles, visiting our daughter a few months ago, and I forgot to bring some things, and I had to go to Target and buy some things, and I should have said, I didn't have the nerve. I started to say to the cashier, I said, since I'm in California, do I pay for this or do I just walk out? Right?
I was thinking it's under $1,200.
But I didn't know how much of a sense of humor they would have over it, and I thought maybe they would think I was going to and call security, so I didn't say it, but it was on the tip of my tongue. But listen to this. Governor Newsom was shopping at Target, and he saw someone shoplift, steal something and leave the store. And Newsom told this story. He actually saw
that is the craziest
shoplifting, and which is amazing because it's hard to believe he was there by himself. He had to have a state trooper, some security. Yeah. He's the governor of California, and but anyway, he saw someone shoplifting and walk out of the store at Target. He went to the Target employee. It says here, Governor Newsom approached a Target store employee and asked why the thief was not apprehended. Right? And he said to his astonishment, the Target employee directly blamed Governor Newsom's radical policies for the surge in crime. They didn't recognize that he was the governor.
Gosh,
they didn't know it was
hilarious.
Newsom. Governor Newsom said he was taken aback by the accusation from the employee.
Out of touch.
How did they not recognize him? It's crazy. Well,
that probably bothered him more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, man. I would love to see this, wouldn't you?
That's probably what really
I wish Target would release the video.
They didn't know who he was.
Target has 4K surveillance video.
Yeah.
I wish they'd release this video. Governor Newsom was taken back by the Target employee's accusation and refuted the claim, saying that California's laws are among the toughest in the nation.
These people are deluded.
With Proposition 47 making it a felony for property thefts totaling $950 or higher. However, his explanation seemed to fall on deaf ears as the Target employee, not recognizing the governor at first, continued to express his frustration over the lack of accountability and enforcement. Newsom recounted his experience. Newsom says, "Sir, you dropped this." And he comes back, picks it up, and walked out. So the guy, I guess Newsom helped him shoplift. He said, "Sir, you dropped this."
My
the guy came and picked it up and stole it, right? As we're checking out, the woman says, "Oh, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that." Then this is Governor Newsom talking. Governor Newsom says, "Why are you not stopping him?" And then a woman says, "Oh, the governor." I mean, my goodness. It goes, I'm not going to read the
shocked he told this story.
But see, the thing about, I'm not going to read the whole transcript, but the person stole $380 worth of merchandise.
Wow.
So you got to get up to the $950. And I've seen video of shoplifters in California where they stop and add up how much they have so that it's under $950.
How can anybody think that law deters crime?
Well,
it's
because
insane.
Kathy, if you make crime legal, they're not committing a crime. You understand?
Yeah, that's that liberal backward logic.
Like if you liberals, they've legalized so many drugs in this country. You legalize drugs, you have less drug crime.
This is all about being woke, and
it's just stupid.
And because somebody said that it's racial, it's a racist thing to criminalize people for stealing because they assume all black or brown people steal. So it's criminal in their mind. This is some white liberal BS. Again, treating minorities like they can't control their behavior.
It's bizarre.
But it really just encourages theft from all walks of life. You many young, like teenage girls that love Taylor Swift shoplift all the time. Oh my gosh, it was a big thing when I was in high school.
Well, Taylor Swift wasn't though.
No, but like her fans, people that like her, like that kind of group that you wouldn't assume would be shoplifting.
Oh, you mean young girls shoplift like makeup and stuff? Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge problem at Claire's, at when I worked at a record store. I'm saying like just young, average teenage girls. You know, when I worked at a record store once, Q Records, and we had a whole wall of cassette singles. And
that's how long ago it was,
This
guys.
is a long time ago.
Yeah,
this is like 1989.
Cassettes. I liked cassettes.
And Brian used to shop in that store.
Yeah.
But I would have to stand at that wall.
Yeah.
And watch for shoplifters all day long. It was
gosh,
and they told watch for the teenage girls.
Yeah.
And they never said black or Spanish, just teenage girls in general. They're the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So shoplifting is not a racial thing. Look at Winona Ryder. I mean,
that's right.
It's not a racial thing. And if you give people an opportunity to do it and get away with it, people are going to get away with whatever they can get away with. I mean, that's just human nature. I mean, he's just an out of touch idiot.
I was at a store once when I was in high school, and a mother was in the store. She had her two sons who were like 10 or 11, and her sons had shoplifted. She brought them back to the store, had them bring back the merchandise.
Good for her.
And told the manager that her sons took these things and she was returning them.
Well, and if she did that now, she'd probably get arrested.
Yeah, a couple years ago, we were at the grocery store and we came out to the car and put our groceries away. And we had a case of bottled water that was on the bottom of the cart and they had not charged us for it. And so I went back in the store and said, hey, you didn't charge me for this. I want to pay. And the manager was like in shock that I just didn't keep it.
Right.
I said, well, they said, really? I said, yeah.
Yeah, that's stealing.
I said, they didn't see it under the bottom of the cart, so they didn't ring it up. I came in, she said, like, really? I said, yeah. She's like, well, that's so nice. I said, well, if I didn't pay for it, I'm stealing.
Right.
I'm not going to steal.
No.
You know, I'm not going to steal.
That affects everybody.
But this thing with Gavin Newsom, I would like the press to verify the details of his story.
I'm shocked he even told that story. Target doesn't make him look good.
Yeah, Target has some of the best security video there is. And if you ever go to Target and you're checking out, when you're doing self-checkout, they have these big monitors where you can see yourself doing self-checkout. A lot of that is for intimidation, so you don't steal while you're doing self-checkout.
How does self-checkout help with loss prevention? I would think that would be a major problem because you could just stick something in your bag.
No. That's why when you're checking out at Target, they have the huge.
Oh. Do you think it catches everything?
They have the huge screen to scare you, that knowing you're on camera. But anyway, Target has very good video. Yeah. So I would like the press to get this video of the shoplifter with Newsom, because I don't know if I believe the story or not. Yeah,
I do, because why would he tell? Unless he's so twisted. Maybe he thinks it makes him look good that he's shopping at Target. And he's down with the regular folks.
He's a man of the people. He's a Target.
What a moron.
Oh, my goodness. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Have you tried to get in shape and failed? Or are you just tired of your workout routine? You're not alone. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the new book from author Jonathan Wright, Sculpting Strength, available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Author Jonathan Wright has over 25 years of experience in bodybuilding and nutrition. He shares the real truth about weight loss, muscle gain, supplements, and more. Whether you're a seasoned gym goer or a complete beginner, author Jonathan Wright will be your personal trainer and will guide you through the science of achieving your fitness dreams with Sculpting Strength. You'll learn about effective calorie intake, optimal eating habits, and the fastest way to gain muscle. Learn how simple science can make your goals achievable and debunk all those myths you've been told about fitness. Author Jonathan Wright has reached his goals, and now he's here to help you reach yours. Order your copy right now. Sculpting Strength from author Jonathan Wright on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com, and get into the physical condition you've always dreamed of. Sculpting Strength from author Jonathan Wright on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Imagine a world where your lifespan isn't a mystery. Would it be a blessing? Would it be a curse? Would you want to know? From author M.D. Lima comes the book, The Knowing, Book 1, available on Amazon. This young adult novel takes you to a dystopian society divided into the known and the unknown and explores the profound impact of this knowledge on both society and the lives of individuals. The Knowing isn't just an ordinary book. It's a project that you, as readers, are invited to join. At the end of Book 1, you can influence the future books. Your ideas and thoughts could become part of Book 2, making you a co-creator of this unfolding adventure. And then at the end of Book 2, the entire process will be repeated for Book 3. Be a part of the creation and adventure of this unique interactive experience. A portion of proceeds from the book will be donated to the American Cancer Society. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. The Knowing from author M.D. Lima, where your journey becomes a part of the story. Order your copy right now. The new sci-fi novel from author Tony Travis is now available on Amazon. Keyholes. Keyholes is a journey of discovery. Meet Dr. Alan Messman and his brother Colonel Bryce Messman as they uncover a groundbreaking revelation, a mysterious portal influenced by quantum effects on photons. Join their team on a quest to unravel the secrets hidden behind the keyhole. What lies beyond? A passage to the past, an alternate world, or something beyond our wildest imaginations? Find out when you read Keyholes from author Tony Travis. Follow their journey as it challenges the very nature of reality, intertwining cosmic mysteries with a deep exploration of identity and existence. Every page is a gateway to another layer of mystery, leading to a climax that will leave you questioning the very fabric of our universe. Order your copy of Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. How would you like to make your home stand out above the rest? You can with the elegance of Moroccan craftsmanship at The Brass Designs on Etsy.com. The Brass Designs on Etsy is a distinguished cooperative bringing the beauty of handmade brass and copper crafts directly into your home. They specialize in kitchen and bathroom fixtures, indoor and outdoor shower systems, and unique accessories. The Brass Designs have over 14 years of experience in their local market with a team of over 20 skilled artisans, ensuring that each piece is meticulously handcrafted for lasting quality and beauty. From sleek kitchen faucets to exquisite copper and brass bathtubs, every product comes with a 10-year warranty. And as Etsy star sellers, they pride themselves on their exceptional product quality, customer service, and reliable shipping. They've built long-term partnerships with numerous U.S.-based interior designers, redefining home aesthetics with a blend of traditional artistry, premium quality, and unrivaled reliability. The range of items for the entire home include kitchen sink faucets, outdoor copper shower heads, stylish soap dispensers, decorative hanging pots, and so much more. Visit the shop right now on Etsy, etsy.com/shop/The Brass Designs. View their inventory. You will be impressed. Experience the blend of Moroccan tradition and modern design, elevating your home with The Brass Designs on Etsy, where art meets functionality. Etsy.com/shop/The Brass Designs.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't forget free shipping on all My Pillow products at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And also, remember, you get the sales discount, like the MyPillow 2.0 is 50% off, for example. The MyPillow bathrobes are less than $50, over $100 off. You get that discount plus free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Great time to do your shopping, support the show, support Mike Lindell, get some great Valentine's Day gifts. But free shipping on all My Pillow products site-wide with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right, now this morning on the morning show, I debunked this, and it's starting to take off. Not my debunking, but the fake news story.
Oh.
And first I saw it on Fox, and now it's the lead story on the Drudge Report. And here it is. This is the lead story on the Drudge Report, and this was on Fox last night. Shock poll: Biden jumps to 6-point lead. Okay. This poll, I went through this poll in detail. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing now. If you want to hear the detailed breakdown, go to the video before this on my YouTube channel, okay? And it'll be there. It's the one where I was talking about James O'Keefe's latest video, which I want to talk about in another moment too. Biden does not have a 6-point lead.
No way.
And the reason I went and researched this is because yesterday all the polls came out that showed Biden was losing to Trump in all the battleground states. And then that night, all of a sudden, 6-point lead. So I pulled up the methodology of the poll. They only survey 20, remember, out of a polling sample, it's a sample of 100%, right?
Right.
Of the 100%, only 27 of them were Republicans. Think about that. Only 27% of those who were surveyed were Republicans. So here's the breakdown.
That's why you can't trust a lot of polls.
No, it's all fake news. Listen to this. So this is the one where Biden's up 6. Here's who they polled. 27% of Republicans, 30% Democrats. So right there, they've oversampled Democrats by 3 points.
Right.
30% are independent and 13% are other, okay, or no party affiliation. Independents and no party affiliation are 98, 99% Democrats lying and don't want to tell the pollster they're a Democrat. So they polled 73% Democrat versus 27% Republican in a poll, and they're still running that Biden is ahead in that poll. Now, even in a poll where it's 73% Democrats versus 27% Republicans, Biden's only ahead by 6. So that tells you he's not even popular among liberals. But, when I saw the poll, this story about the poll, I knew it was BS. So I went, and it took me about 10 minutes, which is an eternity online, 10 minutes. It took me about 10 minutes to find the breakdown of who they surveyed because it wasn't in the stories. I had to go to different places. I finally found it. There's a big cover-up about this. It's 1,000% fake news. And this is what really burns me, that, Fox News and the Drudge Report, this was the lead. When I woke up this morning, this was the lead story on the Fox News website. And right now, it's the lead story on the Drudge Report. And the Drudge Report and Fox News used to be the two most trustworthy places for news. They used to be like the Gateway Pundit is today.
Well, obviously, the Drudge Report was bought out by some left wing, probably the Huffington Post.
Or China.
Or China, exactly.
And Fox News this is the difference between Fox News and the Drudge Report. Although it hasn't really been 100% confirmed and talked about, the Drudge Report has been obviously bought by never Trumper liberals. Fox News is the same people that were there when they were credible. So Drudge is a bunch of liberal anti-Trump people. Fox are just liars. They are knowingly at Fox News with this poll, they are knowingly broadcasting something they know to be a 100% fabrication that Trump is behind 6 points in a poll against Joe Biden. It's complete nonsense. Okay, so now we've got the audio of Governor Newsom. He was in this Zoom meeting talking about the incident, okay? So let's see if it matches up with what was in the story. This is hilarious.
Yeah,
my goodness. Gavin Newsom. It sounded to me like he helped the shoplifter. Let's see. Let's play it. Governor Newsom, he's in a Zoom meeting talking about
I guess this is how it leaked out.
Yeah, talking about the Target shoplifting incident.
Says, sir, you dropped this. And he comes back, picks it up, and keeps walking out. As we're checking out, the woman says, oh, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that. I said, well, why didn't you stop him? She goes, oh, the governor. I swear to God, true story. And my mom's great. The governor lowered the threshold. There's no accountability.
See that? She doesn't say, oh, the governor. He's saying, no, the governor lets people steal.
Right?
No, I said, that's just not true. And I said, we have the 10th toughest, $950, the 10th toughest in America. She doesn't even know what I was talking about. By the way, it's the 10th toughest in America. Look it up. No one gives a damn about that. And I said, it's just not true. They're still stopped. They said, well, we don't stop them because of the governor. And then she looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. Conversation with your
Now she wanted to take a selfie. She's like, I'm not taking a photo with you. That's when you really want to take the photo, right?
Gosh.
Oh, man.
She looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation with your manager. How are you blaming the governor?
Oh, he seems like a real petty.
Wow. What
he
a
is
monster.
Really insecure.
So this is
he really got offended by her.
So we'll play the rest. I'll rewind this.
My
This is beautiful.
That's too funny.
I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail for this episode.
He really got offended.
Yeah. You guys will get some behind the scenes. When we do a podcast, because our podcast is on all podcast platforms, I also upload it to YouTube. And most of the time, I'll know what our lead story is going to be, and I'll make the thumbnail before we actually do the show. And I have a thumbnail about the Charlie Sykes thing, but I'm going to change it. It's got to be about Governor Newsom and the Shoplifter. And that'll be the thumbnail. Governor Newsom and the Shoplifter.
Like Tammy in The Bachelor.
That's right. Yeah. So Governor Newsom, she said, why'd you let him walk out? Well, the governor. And then she's like, and he says, I'm going to talk to your manager about you.
Oh, my gosh. So he's going to make sure she gets fired.
So here's this trust fund baby.
Wow.
Right? He's the nephew of Pelosi, right? You got this guy who was born a millionaire, and now he's going to try to get this hourly worker at Target.
What a jerk.
Fired.
Right.
Yeah, so what a jerk.
Yeah, let's see what he says.
Yeah, I rewind it just a little bit.
She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation with your manager. How are you blaming the governor? And it was, 380.
And look how he talks about himself. He says, not me. How you're blaming me. He says, how you're blaming the governor. He's using the third person.
Real arrogant a-hole.
He thinks he's like royalty.
Yeah.
You're blaming the governor.
That's how they all think, Brian.
You're blaming the governor, not blaming me.
They all think they're royalty.
And you hear his we're going to talk to your manager about how you're blaming the governor.
Yep.
He's like pissed.
Yep.
What a jerk. I wonder if the Target workers are unionized in California.
She looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation with your manager. How are you blaming the governor? And it was, $380 later. And I was like, why am I spending $380? Everyone can walk the hell right out.
Well, not fair. Not fair. Not fair. Yeah.
It's my target.
Oh, they must be union because and keep in mind, this has got to be a meeting of all Democrats. It's Newsom with people in California. And he said, I heard one of them say something about the union. So our Target, let us know in the comments. I know we got a lot of Californians. Are Target workers unionized in California? So I guess it's hard to find.
I like how they say it's not fair. Well, yeah, it's not fair. And that's what everyday Americans are dealing with and how we feel about it. And but he's so stupid and so
arrogant.
Narcissistic.
Oh, yeah.
That he can't understand that this is what is affecting inflation and affecting people on a daily basis. These politicians, it's all about them. This is why they can't relate to everyday people, because you hear the way he's telling the story. It's like he's the victim.
He's the victim.
Yeah, he's the victim, this multimillionaire.
Yeah.
He doesn't say to himself, gee, this must be why there's an inflation problem in these stores and they're raising their prices because there's so much theft.
I'll play the rest of this audio in a minute.
What a jerk.
But it's
all about him.
When Richard Nixon was president, obviously he was president during the war in Vietnam and he was and there were all these protesters in Washington all the time. And President Nixon actually left the White House and went and talked to the protesters to find out why they were protesting.
No. These guys are like Marie Antoinette now.
This guy here, Governor Newsom, wants to get this Target worker fired.
Yep.
He sees himself as the victim. He accepts zero responsibility for the crime. Let's play the rest of it.
Meanwhile, it's his law.
Yeah, in his state.
The governor. And it was, $380 later. And I was like, why am I spending $380? Everyone can walk the hell right out.
Well, not fair. Not fair. Not fair. Yeah.
It's my target.
So you hear you hear the Democrat in the background attacking the unions. Oh boy, the Democrat blaming the unions.
Oh boy.
Yeah, not Newsom though. It's not Newsom's fault. It's the unions.
Well, not fair. Not fair. Not fair. Yeah.
It's my target. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I know that Mayor Gloria and Mayor Breed are still logging on, so
Hopefully all the reporters weren't on today.
we've got about 30 folks.
Was that Newsom that said that?
Yes.
Hopefully the reporters weren't on for that. Yes, we're here, Newsom.
So who leaked this?
I don't know.
Somebody in this meeting.
Yeah, we're here, Governor. We're here.
Oh my! Well, plus anything on Zoom
This
can
is
be
beautiful.
hacked. These people are so stupid. Like the guy that was talking to James O'Keefe.
Yes.
I don't understand how these people, even I understand in today's world, that when you're out in public, even when you're out in your own home these days, you got to assume people are listening to you. And if you're on a Zoom meeting, that can very easily go public. I mean, look what happened to Jeffrey Toobin. I mean, that kind of stuff goes public all the time. Either people release it or it gets hacked or something happens. But so now another case of him telling you how he what a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my target. She triggered me. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I know that Mayor Gloria and Mayor Breed are still logging on, so
Hopefully all the reporters weren't on today.
we've got about 30 folks on, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. I know that Mayor Gloria, as the chair of Big City Mayors, was going to kick us off and introduce Mayor Mahon from San Jose. So, Mayor, you're going to go ahead and kick it off, and then hopefully Mayor Breed will be on by then for you to hand it over. And
Let's see if they say anything else.
So I'll go ahead and kick it over to you, and I just want to say thanks to everybody for being here. We will open it up for Q&A at the end of the program, and if there's any technological challenges with that, we'll follow up with you all afterwards. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, that was it.
Okay, so this is a Zoom meeting he has with the major mayors, I guess.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're not every mayor, but there were 30 people in that Zoom meeting. So somebody in that meeting leaked this video.
Could have been a member of the press.
Well, there were 30 people there. And when you're doing a Zoom meeting, I've been in Zoom meetings, like for support groups and things. Not everybody that's in the meeting is on camera, and not everybody talks. Sometimes they just listen, and then they'll like raise their hand when they want to say something. But a lot of people are in these meetings just listening. So I promise you, somebody in that meeting leaked this, obviously, and maybe somebody was with the press, but somebody who does not like Newsom, one of these mayors possibly could have leaked this. And did you hear how they don't challenge him? They all kiss his ass.
Well, yeah.
But that's how it is, because he's the governor of their state.
And they're
the
Democrats.
mayor. And look how he incurred his wrath on a Target employee. Could you imagine what he would do to a mayor if they challenged him at all? These people are not accountable. Like you said, they're like royalty, and they're never held accountable.
Well, I hope
for what they say or do.
I hope the press follow up. I want to find out if Governor.
I'd love to interview that worker.
If Governor Newsom actually went to the manager, was the employee reprimanded? Were they fired? I saw a story recently. I'm not sure if it was Target or Walmart, but one of those recently, they fired a woman who worked there for like 20-something years because she bought a Stanley Cup while she was on the clock. She didn't even steal it. She paid for it. So, these companies, sometimes they do things. It gets then they'll take action and correct the mistake that they made. Yeah. This is a big story. And Newsom,
do you think he was in Sacramento?
I don't know where he was. He didn't say. He didn't say.
The capital of California.
He used to be the mayor of San Francisco, so he could have been in.
What's the capital of
Sacramento?
Sacramento, yeah.
So I don't know where he was when this happened, but the story obviously is real when you hear him tell it.
Absolutely.
For this just one moment, I wish he was running for president. If he was running for president right now, this would be the end of his campaign.
Well, this was just tweeted by Libs of TikTok.
This just broke.
And now we're talking about it. So this just broke. And the only thing with this kind of stuff is almost every day there's something new, shocking, breaking. So when that happens, these things get forgotten. You know what I mean? And that's good for him, because he figure in 3 or 4 days people will forget about it.
Well, this hasn't even
something else.
This hasn't broken yet. We were ahead of it. Libs of TikTok tweet. We in the first segment, we talked about this
before it got tweeted.
When we took the break, Libs of TikTok tweeted the video during our break, and she didn't hear the show yet because it hasn't been uploaded. During that first segment. But see how fast this story's going.
It's crazy. Well.
Yes. So this story if people on social media start sharing this show and Libs of TikTok, this could really grow because he picked on and bullied a retail worker at Target, and that's a really nasty.
And remember
thing.
when he had dinner at that fancy restaurant right during the
lockdowns,
peak of COVID, when people had to stay home?
He had a wine party.
Yeah, this is a guy who has no respect for the American
Kathy,
people.
That's Karen activity that he did. He pulled a Karen.
That's exactly right. What's the male Karen? Is there a male Karen?
Karen's fine with me. It's a Karen thing. All right, now I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support. Thank you so much, guys. Those of you that are Patreon supporters, your support helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to us. And remember, those of you that are Patreon supporters, visit the Patreon page. There is exclusive content that is available only to those who are Patreon supporters. Kathy and I both post things up on the Patreon page, including commercial-free editions of the podcast, but there's a lot more there than that. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you have access to that. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, and Constance. Thank you so much. Those are our top Patreon supporters. Now, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode. All right, we're going to take our last break. There's so much more to discuss. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Planning a trip or vacation in the new year? Make sure your journey starts at Border to Border Travel. At Border to Border Travel, you'll discover the power of efficient packing with their compression packing cubes and underseat luggage. Border to Border Travel will have you traveling in style while optimizing space like you've never done before. Their compact cubes ingeniously compress your essentials, while their underseat luggage is designed for seamless, stress-free journeys. It's perfect for weekend getaways or business trips. With Border to Border Travel, you'll experience the convenience of organized, hassle-free travel. You get the perfect synergy of smart design and durability. Travel smarter, travel lighter, and travel with unmatched ease. Embrace your next adventure with Border to Border Travel, where innovation meets wanderlust. Online at bordertobordertravel.com. That's the number 2, bordertobordertravel.com. Your journey starts today. bordertobordertravel.com. Are you a teenager who wants to unlock their full potential? You can. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the book from author Charles E. Tyler, 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life. Available on Amazon. This must-read and life-changing book is your guide to rocking the teenage years with confidence and clarity. It's filled with real-life, no-nonsense advice. You'll discover how to navigate the twists and turns of adolescence. Have you ever wondered how successful people make it look so easy? 10 Mindsets to Embrace reveals their secrets. You'll also find interactive exercises that can boost your emotional intelligence, find your zen, and supercharge your self-awareness, and discover the real you. Author Charles E. Tyler's 10 Mindsets to Embrace is a conversation, a guide, and your personal coach. It's perfect for teens who are ready to challenge the norms, make their mark, and become their best selves. And it makes a great gift for parents, teachers, and school counselors to share with their students. 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now and take that first step to the success and happiness that you've dreamed of. Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind treasure to make your special occasion truly memorable? Look no further than Holiday Boutique Finds on Etsy.com. At Holiday Boutique Finds, you'll discover something for everyone and every occasion. From stylish home decor to personalized presents that touch the heart. Celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, even treat yourself with their wide range of products. Explore their selection of coffee mugs, trendy t-shirts, and so much more. And if you're looking for something extra special, check out their crossbody bags. inspirational devotionals, elegant journals, charming figurines, and stunning jewelry. They also have kitchen essentials, captivating wall art, handy planners, sleek tumblers, and delightful magnets. Every item at Holiday Boutique Finds is crafted with love and care, ensuring that you find that perfect gift for every magical day. Visit them right now on Etsy at holidayboutiquefinds.etsy.com. That's holidayboutiquefinds.etsy.com, where every day is a celebration. holidayboutiquefinds.etsy.com. When you're shopping online, make your first stop HarmonyHomewares.com. HarmonyHomewares.com is where style meets affordability. When you visit the store, you'll find a world of products for every need, every taste, and every one. Light up your nights with their sleek motion sensor nightlight. You can choose from a permanent light, intelligent light. There's even an off mode for the perfect ambiance. It's not just functional, it's the coolest nightlight you've ever seen. Spice up your kitchen with their comprehensive spice jar set. It's 12 glass jars, 114 waterproof labels, and a convenient marker pen. You can easily organize your spices and add a touch of elegance to your kitchen. Or upgrade your bedroom with their 2-drawer modern nightstand featuring LED lights. It has a lot of storage too. This bedside table is the perfect blend of contemporary design and practicality. But that's not all. HarmonyHomewares.com have travel bags, items for your pets, multifunctional mouse pads, honey dispensers, stackable glass sets, weighted blankets, art pieces for your home or office, wireless charging stations, floor-length LED mirrors, adjustable standing desks, and that's just the beginning of their massive inventory of incredible products. With HarmonyHomewares.com, quality, variety, and affordability are just a click away. Visit the store right now. HarmonyHomewares.com. That's HARMONI. You will be amazed. Your journey to a stylish and functional home starts right now. HarmonyHomewares.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in.
I wanted to ask you, all these people on Twitter right now, because we checked Twitter during the show, are calling for Ronna McDaniel to step down, including Vivek. Do you think he's trying to get that job, or is that not good enough for him? Do you think he wants to be ahead of the RNC?
Well, I was talking about this on yesterday's morning show, which you missed. That's okay.
No, I watched the replay.
Okay. Okay. They're having a meeting to remove her, and there was all this talk on Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter X now, guys. Okay,
Twitter X. Okay.
Twitter X. Do you guys like Twitter X?
Yeah, I like Twitter X.
I like Twitter X.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds cooler anyway.
Yeah.
Twitter X. And there was this whole dialogue going on yesterday about this, and I figure Ramaswamy probably started that dialogue.
Yeah.
And
yeah, do you think that's what he's? Okay, I guess I missed that part.
And let me tell you,
Sorry.
that'd be very, very dangerous because
I think he's trying to get that job.
Okay, it's a very dangerous job for him to have, and I'll tell you why real quick. I think it's fine for Vivek Ramaswamy to go campaign and tell young people that support him to vote for Trump, but I don't want him to have a seat at the table. And the head of the RNC, their number one job is fundraising, and if he's a billionaire and he's got those Soros connections, he'll probably have record fundraising of any head of the RNC because of the Soros connections.
Well, apparently they have a lot of debt now. And Benny Johnson
maybe
tweeted they have a lot of debt.
Benny Johnson is friends with Vivek, so I like Benny Johnson a lot, but he's blinded when it comes to Vivek. But the thing about that is, if it is true that Vivek is connected to Soros, we know we got the scholarship, okay? Soros could take over the whole Republican Party through the fundraising arm, which controls the whole party, and Vivek should have nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's very bad.
Well, I think the RNC is in debt because it's full of never-Trumpers.
That's right.
And I think people aren't giving them money. They're giving the money directly to Trump.
Correct.
That's the problem.
That's right.
And you need somebody up there that's a Trump person. And,
No, that's exactly right.
That's what's really
going
on.
Now, there's a story today in the New York Post. I tell you, Ron DeSantis, wears the high heels, right? And his wife wears the pants in the family.
Oh, yes.
And there's an article that has come out about Ron DeSantis's failed, very disastrous presidential campaign. Listen to this. This is in the New York Post. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey are accused of being meticulous micromanagers who refuse to allow staffers to send out campaign emails or tweets without their approval through his 2024 presidential race, former workers have said. The level of control the DeSantis's, and when they say the DeSantis's, they mean, Walmart Melania, Casey DeSantis. Yeah. The level of control the DeSantis's exerted on staffers, most of whom had no experience working on national political campaigns, created bottlenecks and led to repetitive social media posts and fundraising emails being sent out. This is according to former aides of the campaign. There's nothing anywhere in the organization DeSantis or his wife don't have their finger on, a former campaign official said.
I can totally see that with her.
That includes even tweets.
She seems like the kind of person, if you look at her hair, she looks like a pageant contestant. And when the way she dresses, that is consumed with her public image more than probably most women.
Yeah.
And it probably is extremely controlling.
Yeah.
Over that kind of stuff. I mean, you obviously want to have some control over that, but you have to also let people do their job and trust that the people you hire are going to do their job. And you can't micromanage everything because then you only get one perspective, one point of view, and it's always a narcissistic point of view when you're that type of person.
Another aide said DeSantis had to approve every single fundraising email. The Florida governor's insistence on personally reviewing all communications rather than delegating the chore created a bottleneck, sometimes as many as 3 days going by before it being submitted because they had to get all of these approvals. They only had what looked like 1 to 3 form emails going out because DeSantis had to review every single fundraising email before it went out, another former staffer said. I mean, this is just – he's a disaster.
Well, I read an article with a former staffer that said DeSantis just doesn't like people in general, so he probably doesn't trust people. And I know Trump did very well. I mean, not that he needed help, but Trump he had a strategy of hiring a lot of people that DeSantis fired. Yeah. And I think that was a brilliant strategy.
Find out what was going on.
Well, yeah, they were disgruntled employees, and they went right – DeSantis would fire them, and Trump would pick them right up and bring them on his camp.
Another former aide said both the governor and the first lady – that's Walmart Melania. I mean, I've never known a Florida first lady to constantly refer to themselves as that.
Well, she dresses like she. When I saw her at that inauguration, I said to you, and you thought I was crazy, she was wearing this ball gown with gloves up to the 3/4 of her arm, and her hair was in an updo. And I said, this woman is dressing like she's at the presidential. Even Melania didn't dress that nice. And I'm like, this woman is like, she has her sights set on the White House. Like right now, she's dressing like Jackie Kennedy hosting a ball at the White House. She looked ridiculous.
Yeah, it says both the governor and first lady had to look at different tweets before they went live. So, if they would have made it, that tells me, okay, the reason I bring this up, that tells me that it was probably their idea for the high heel shoes.
Probably. And it also, when you do that, you send a message to the people that work for you that you don't trust them.
And they'll humiliate you.
And that you don't trust them to do your job. Yeah. And when you do that, I think that's the problem. Kamala Harris, like that guy that was talking to James O'Keefe, said she's bleeding. He said she was bleeding through black staff. What, does she not hire white people? But he said all her black staff are leaving for some reason. I don't know. Her staff is only black, I guess. But probably because she's a micromanager. Yeah. She doesn't trust them to do their job. And when you do that right away, the people that are working for you are like, well, she doesn't trust me, so screw her. She won't even let me do my job here. And somebody could turn on you very quickly if you start micromanaging them when they're hired to do something. And when you have a huge campaign like that, you have a massive staff. I mean, I don't know how they spend so much time micromanaging every little thing. That's incredible to me. That's why they made so many mistakes, because they didn't have anybody else telling them this is a bad idea or we shouldn't do this.
This is how they would have run the White House. Now, Lawrence Jones, Fox News sent Lawrence Jones to Boston. And
this is good.
He interviewed people on the street, and first person he talks to is a black woman about the illegals.
Keisha, you were just on the street, and I saw your outrage. Why are you outraged?
because this place was, like you said, it's free. It was a place for our children. Our children, I have 4 children, and it's sad, I have 4 boys, and we really don't have nothing in the community that's free for us. Don't get me wrong. It's great that they want to help the immigrants, but what about the Americans that are already here? What about the people that are already here that don't have homes, that don't have jobs, that are sleeping on the street already? These people came from the airport here, probably on boats, probably on buses, and probably all for free. Now they're getting stipends. They're getting what else? I need money for me and my kids, and I was born here.
Now, this is what I've been telling you. The black community nationwide are enraged over the illegals and how well they're being treated. A lot of this has to do with the left constantly talking reparations, and a lot of liberal blacks say, well, they're getting our reparations.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they see it.
I know life is a struggle in itself, but this is not the answer to help them. Now it's going to destroy our community more and mess our children up more. Like, this is sad. I know a lot of people don't even know about this. I came here last night when my aunt saw a lot of stadies, a lot of police, and this paper wasn't there yet. They just did this probably 2, 3 in the morning when they brung them here.
Okay, with the paper, they took newspaper.
They always do these things in the middle of the night.
They took paper and covered up the windows so you couldn't see who was inside the building.
Oh, like something else we know about.
When everybody sleep, that's when they brung them here, probably. On buses, I saw New York plates. I saw Washington, D.C. plates. So they have that much money to come from Washington, D.C. to do this, to do that. Why are they not helping the people here first?
Yes, ma'am. We
need help.
Let's talk to one of the counselors.
Yes.
Aaron, Ms. Murphy, thanks so much for joining us. When you hear the passion right here from...
Okay, now this counselor, I guess, is she a counselor for the illegals? We'll find out.
I hear in my office all the time. And it is a balance. Like I was telling you earlier, the state owns this building, so the governor has to make a decision on where to put the overflow migrants.
Okay, now this is an interesting thing. So... If the governors can work with the illegals, why is it wrong for a governor like the governor of Texas to try to stop the illegals? Because the Democrats, the Democrat leadership like governors working with illegals, unless they're the governor of Texas and they're trying to stop it.
But at the same time, the community needs to make sure that that we keep their services in place.
Why would they declare Boston as a sanctuary city?
I mean, I think a lot of cities across this country once they declare themselves a sanctuary city, I'm not sure if they knew the amount of support we were going to need to give.
I know you're a Democrat, but do you think declaring cities as sanctuaries was a mistake in retrospect?
Looking back, if our communities end up losing the services they need to live full lives, I think we may be questioning that. We do have to find a balance to...
Now this woman's a Democrat, right? She's a public servant and a social worker in Boston. So she's a liberal.
These people are going to vote for Biden no matter what.
I don't know. They're pretty fed up. They may not vote. The
black woman won't.
They may not vote for Trump, but they may stay home and not vote.
That's true.
And when they stay home and don't vote, that's like voting for Trump.
That's true.
Make sure that these migrant families have a safe place to go. But at the same time, my concern, I'm an elected official here. I represent the whole city, and I'm the chair of public health in the last 2 years in homelessness. And I've centered my advocacy and policy on making sure that every resident has the resources they need. And I'm hearing that seniors and kids, like Effie was just telling us, that her own family, right, might be disrupted. So I'm making sure that the city is stepping up and connecting with all the departments so that these displaced, residents who use this every day.
Let's bring Keisha back in here. Keisha, you hear that from your counselor. What do you want done right now?
Like she said, we want to help them, but at the same time, what about us that need help here? What about, I'm a mother and I have 4 children. They need help. They need somewhere to go. They need something to do.
What type of activities used to be in this building?
Skating ring, exercising, like a place where you can just go chill and stay out of trouble.
And now it's full of illegals to live.
So this was a place for the local kids.
Right, now they've taken
and
it over.
teens. Yep. And they've kicked out the kids, just like that school in New York, and they filled it with illegals, and they're getting all the free stuff.
The only thing that's going to stop this from happening is voting for Trump. Mm-hmm. That is the only thing that will stop this, because if Biden gets in again, it's going to get even worse.
That's right.
It's going to get worse. So if this woman votes for Biden, she's getting what she's asking for. I mean, I hope she changes her mind and realize that the social worker, she'll never stop being a Democrat. But I mean, you could tell. But maybe this woman, Keisha, will realize, you know what? The only way I'm going to get my center back is if I vote for Trump, because that's the truth, Keisha. That's the only way you're going to get that center back for your sons.
That's right.
And that's a damn shame.
Now, Laura Loomer tweeted a story today. Karl Rove's wife, Karen, is hosting a fundraiser for Nikki Haley in Texas with 18 Never Trumper Uniparty mega donors. So those are let me read through. Maybe we get some information. This is a story written by Laura Loomer that she tweeted. Okay. Karl Rove's wife, Karen, and 18 other Uniparty mega donors will co-host multiple Texas fundraisers for Nikki Haley on February 15th and 16th in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. Nikki Haley's Uniparty donors for our upcoming event include individuals who have previously donated to Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, the Democrat Party, Liz Cheney, Jeb Bush, Mitt Romney, and Chris Christie. She says here that she has previously reported on mega donors throwing her fundraisers in Florida, New York, San Francisco, and L.A.
These are the dumbest people on the planet. They just think of all the people they've supported. All losers. None of them have won. Why do they keep do they just have money to burn? I mean, give it to us. Give it to somebody that'll do something good with the money. It's crazy. Donate it to this Keisha lady in her neighborhood to build a new center for her kids. This is insane. These rich people have nothing better to do. They've everybody you name, they backed Jeb Bush, Chris Christie. They've all lost.
It's insane.
And now they're going to back her and give her money.
It's insane. I don't know.
What is wrong with these
typically,
people?
I think that
do they really think that they're making a difference? No, they're not.
Typically, I think most rich people are pretty smart because they have so much money, but
Obviously
apparently not. Well, listen, we're all out of time for today. We will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll see you next time.